Down in the Den, so go tell a friend. The best podcast on earth's about to begin. We got jokes and news and movie reviews. After Dark NC-17 with the crew. Interviews with the best artists around. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Welcome to Down in the Den. We have another great episode coming your way today, and we appreciate you guys for tuning in to the best platform for creatives on Al Gore's internet. And you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. Joining me here in the Den, I'm so happy. He's a longtime friend of the Den. He's an incredible producer, artist, exec. I'm sure I'm missing some hats. He could probably cook really well, probably grill some.
Got two things I can cook. I got two things, but not more. But yeah, please.
Cereal or cheese or something, but probably the bomb. He's the bomb in everything he does. Welcome to the Den, my man, Nick Neutronz. Nick, brother, how are you doing today?
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the introduction. Wow, I feel like I've arrived. I feel honored, man. Thank you.
Hey, man, Den mates for life. That's how we do it. Well, for guys who aren't familiar, if you watch the season 1 finale, one of our biggest episodes to date, an artist that works with Nick, he helped facilitate a very important interview. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now, we're going to talk all about Nick. Nick's a credible producer, multi-genre, credible artist. Tell us a little bit about your origin story. It's a tradition here in the Den. I'm a big nerd. I got another origin story. How did you get bit by the music bug? How did you discover your superpower?
I guess music started for me. It was always in the house. My mom was always like playing us classical music, and she had us on the violin super early. We did like Suzuki method violin when I was like in nursery school. Like age 4 to like 13, I played violin. And started not to like it as I fell in love with video games. And video games like really took over. Video games and like radio pop music and hip hop really like consumed my life. So I was very much into like Black Sheep, A Tribe Called Quest, Crisscross, everything produced by Jermaine Dupri back then. I was like super into as like a 7-8-year-old, like 9-year-old. I was like super into all that. And
we all had our pants on backwards, like in the 92.
For Halloween, I did. Yeah, I definitely
Same
did.
Here. You know, Inside Out is wicked whack. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, some of that stuff, like some of those records, like I still go back and listen to production from that era. Of course, like everyone still listens to like 90s stuff. You know, if you grew up in that, people are still, discovering that flavor now. So that's really crazy. But also like freestyle music, stuff like from Dance Mix USA, Jock Jams type electro, like European synth stuff I was always really into also. So like that stuff, video games, playing the video games, getting the soundtrack stuck in my head. And then my sister is a really big influence on me. She's very like ambitious socializer in New York. So I grew up an hour north of New York City, and my sister was always going out to raves and stuff. She like did the whole like Limelight, the Tunnel, illegal raves. Like she did all that stuff. She was a rave promoter when I was in middle school. So she really got me on like the early drum and bass and stuff. She was dating this guy, this producer, Alex Patterson of The Orb. He got me a set of turntables, or sort of like conspired with my dad to like hook me up with turntables when I was in 7th grade. So since 7th grade, I was DJing. And then since senior year, 2002, making beats on computers, like using FL3. Actually, I made beats on FL3 when my senior year of high school, but very quickly went back to hardware. And then 10 years ago, kind of went back to computers. So a lot of different music chapters in my life.
I love it, and it makes a lot of sense why you're so well versed in so many genres of music. You're almost like the Bane of music, So
I don't know the Bane lore.
So Bane. I'm a big comic book nerd.
Everyone saw the movie. I didn't see it, so I don't know Bane's origin. Yeah, Bane's origin story.
He has a really cool line in that movie where Batman's trying to knock out the light so he can fight him because Bane's just kicking his ass. He knocks out the light, and Bane's like, "Oh, oh, Oh, you merely adopted the darkness. I was born into it. So you're like born into music. You're Bane. You were born into it. Now you mentioned your parents had you on hardcore violin. Is your mother a violinist, or is it like a
No,
family
my
thing? Or
mom. I think some it was like a. I have to actually ask my mom. I don't really know the origins of that. My mom's very much into classical music, though.
right?
She like my parents are like kind of weird. My dad is a musical. He doesn't listen to music at all. Never listened to music for enjoyment in his life. So
Weird.
it's very weird. It's like he's one of two people I ever heard of that's actually like that. But my mom is very into classical music and like got us, sort of going playing the violin. My sister still plays strings. She still plays violin and viola, and she plays like does she play anything else? I guess she just plays violin and viola. But she's still going. I quit in third grade. Like I couldn't go anymore somehow. I just was technologically obsessed. Just like if it doesn't have a screen, like I didn't really want to do it. So
Right.
I
Now
didn't hang with the violin.
you mentioned in your origin story video game music, and for me, I can hum the Mario Brothers theme song. I can hum the Legends of Zelda theme song. I can remember these songs. They're really embedded in my DNA. What was the first video game song that you were really forget the game? You were like, this music is hitting. What do you remember that?
There's a couple of levels in Ninja Gaiden for NES, the first Ninja Gaiden. There's like a couple of them that like even now like I just will still return to and flip and remix those records just because I like want to hear the melody again and just hear the synth line. Like I'm super into the kind of epic sort of there's like a hopefulness, but also because there's like this technological limitation on the sound, the it's like the chord and the melody just becomes so there's something about that square wave that they used to like make video game music back in the day that the way that it makes melodies and chords hit is super like just condensed. It's just you just feel the chords super hard with like those NES game synths, I think, especially if you're our age because we grew up with them. But even now, electronic music, I think a lot of people are still pushing that sound because they really like the way that it moves air, makes the speakers work. That's why they use all the synthesized stuff because it just hits through the speakers a certain way when you synthesize it.
Yeah.
So
I'm a
NES
big
games are like
EDM guy. Yeah, I'm a big EDM guy, so I know what you mean. That energy you feel from the music and the synths, and there's something about the electronic that you don't get with the live, and there's something about the live you don't get with the electronic, but both are
absolutely.
equally
Yeah.
nourishing.
Yeah,
Equally.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, the circle back, we had talked about how we made our introduction. For those who don't know, Nick and how we discovered, and it ended up being a relationship where many other artists he worked with, we've affiliated with. But I first discovered it was a track that you had produced by an artist named Rome Alone, who we interviewed last season, who's currently incarcerated. Tell me a little bit, for those who may have not seen that episode, tell us a little bit about that story and how you got involved with producing it was a track called Live on Death Row. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal track. Tell us a little bit about that backstory for those who may not have heard our prior interview.
Got you. So I met Rome through Mark Katz, and Mark Katz is a professor that runs this. He founded this program called Next Level Hip Hop Exchange. It's a U.S. State Department program that sends hip hop educators to different countries to like talk hip hop and make hip hop with local people that are interested or doing hip hop. So I applied for that program, I think in 2016, and was accepted to that program and went to Tunisia and Algeria for 3 weeks to scratch records and play music with local kids that do that too. And it was fucking incredible. So then,
It's a dream.
yeah, it was unbelievable. Yeah, shouts to everybody who was on that trip too. Big Tara was the dancer. She was part of a hip hop group called Anomalies. One Below from Binary Star, he was on that trip with me, and then also Decap, the producer, sound designer. So, yeah, super great team. Anyway, three years ago, Mark Katz was on Facebook and said, "Does anybody want to produce for a death row inmate?" And I said, "Well, I'll definitely listen to it, see how if he's dope, if I'm inspired to do it, if it sounds like a good idea, I'll definitely try it." And when I heard it, it was just a SoundCloud upload of various just kind of writtens that he just delivered a cappella over the phone, and it was just fucking incredible. It was just like, I don't know. He was just one of the best rappers I'd ever heard. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, absolutely. Sure. So there was this long process of how that kind of technologically worked out. Like, there's like just a story about an MP3 player that people kind of don't really want out there, but it's an epic story. It involves me loading up an MP3 player with as many spare tracks as I had. I gave him like 200 tracks. And then for a while, he was recording with one ear in the MP3 player and one ear on the phone, rapping a cappella to Michael Betts, who was the documentarian who originally met Rome and I think introduced him to Mark Katz, but I'm not sure. It could be that Rome reached out to Mark Katz by himself. I'm actually not sure about that. But anyway, the MP3 player got wiped accidentally. And then after that, 9 months later, COVID hit, and Zoom gave us the opportunity to split all the files into individual. Each caller has an individual audio file, so it's this procedure of him calling up, and then I merge a call from him with a Zoom call, and then record onto the computer, and then also run the audio from the computer through the phone so he can hear it, but it doesn't get recorded. God bless Michael Betts. He figured all this stuff out and figured out how to do it. So now we're back in business, and now we're making a song a week or a couple songs a week. We've had probably like 100 songs, 120 songs. He's a fucking incredible rapper. Everyone should listen to it. It's been annoyingly hard to get people to listen to it, man. Most people immediately say, "Oh, like, what about the quality? Like, can you do anything about the quality?" I'm like, yo, the story is not really the quality. If you like the story, then maybe there's more packaged versions of the story coming. But the music, like, if you like bars, listen to the bars. Like, the bars are fucking incredible. And on my end, I'm doing everything that I can to make it sound as good as I can. But it's a little bit of it's just a different type of project. It's like a challenge. It's like, what can you do? How do you mix this stuff? How do you mix it so that you make it so that people want to turn it up, but that it's not bleeding your ears? Because the vocal is like that.
Yeah, it's a distorted, but it's sent from what I've heard 3 songs that you guys have released, all 3 phenomenal. And I can vouch for everything you say. I always give the D.E.N stamp approval of music. And what Nick said, as far as lyrically, the guy's top tier. He's top caliber, top tier, top upper echelon, whatever grading system you have, he's going to be on the top of it. And your production is, to me, it's a marriage made in heaven. You guys are like Dre and Snoop for what you guys do. You guys mesh very perfect, very well.
Man, thank you. I'm super excited for this next one we got coming out. I really do think this next one is going to grab in a new way. It's because, Live on Death Row, I think, is definitely setting the standard. That's the thing to beat. That's like that track. I'm super proud of that track. Like, regardless of all the other shit I just said about hard to get people to listen to it, like, that track, like, I could fucking die happy, to tell you the truth, because that track is, that's like a classic to me already. Like, it's so like, fast. Yeah. I think it's real. I really think that track's going to be the gift that keeps on giving in a certain way. But yeah.
I agree. One of the D.E.N mates we talked about, good music has no expiration date. So that's the beautiful thing about it. It will live on, and it most definitely will.
Yeah.
Now, the top of the year, you've been a busy man. I've seen you producing with others, working for your own stuff, doing art. What do you prefer, the producer or the artist hat, or is it, one feeds off the other? Always ask multifaceted artists, is there one aspect that they prefer over the other?
They definitely feed off of each other. I mean, it's really great to share the experience of having done something that you really think is great with somebody who either plays a different instrument or a vocalist or a songwriter, just collaborating, or an engineer or a mastering engineer, like even people that like throw shows, like just collaboration with people and seeing something artistic like come together. Collaboration is great. And that side of it I really get from artists when I work with them, and I love that. Even working with other producers, it's just nice to feel that you're doing something with somebody. But the personal project, of course, just allows me to just, how am I feeling in that exact moment? Like, that is just about me and what I'm feeling, and to being able to like push that out in whatever way is like therapy more. It's like a different kind of therapy, it's much more like personal. But they both feed each other, because when I'm doing too much of one, I need to do the other, because then it just gets tapped out. Like if I do too much with too many artists, then I kind of don't know who I am. And then if I do too much on my own, like I start to feel like I'm in a box, because I'm not by nature a very like exponentially successful go get it person. That's just not my personality. I'm more like a, kind of keep to myself and like just try to maintain, like I'm sort of like more that type. So ganging up with people that are that type is really fun. And then it's also like, it's I definitely need both. It's hard to pick, but I'm
I'm a
also a person.
I'm a
Sorry, go ahead.
Libra. No, I said I'm a Libra, so I like balance. I love that answer because it's the scales in me. My mom always said you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you go too hard on one, you empty your cup. You go. So it's that balance. I love that
Mm.
answer.
Hmm. Yeah, man. It's I think what was I gonna say? I think also I'm a very even when I'm working by myself, I'm a person that is like easily influenced. I see something that's really dope, and I see the energy, and I want to be able to like speak that way. Or like if I'm working with a certain type of artist, like, and they're really feeling something, I'm like, what's that bounce like? What's the language there? Like, can I speak that language? Can I make myself as excited about something in that realm? Like, it happens all the time. Like, it happened with drill. It happened with drum and bass a little while ago. It happened with like EDM trap when that first hit. Like, throughout all my music, the thing before all these hybrid electronic hip hop sounds that are like rave sounds, I was always making music that was like a little bit too electronic for rappers, and then a little bit too basic for like techno or electronic music people. But as the fucking spectrum of music kind of hybridized in the last 10 years, it just became about like, where was I fitting in these different things that were happening. And then that was part of it, and then the other half of it was like, how do I make that sound, like how do I make it bang the way that they're making it, but in a certain way. I'm very easily influenced. Like I'm very like, oh, like what's this new thing? So um, it's interesting. That's like kind of I guess for me, if I'm working with others, then I really lose myself, because it becomes all about what they want, and then I get lost in whoever's universe very easily. I'm a Cancer, so it's very watery for me. And even though I'm very like, kind of like, oh, Cancer, like moody, like chill by myself or whatever, but I'm also just easily interested in what other people are doing musically all the time.
But I think that's a gift. I think that's actually a gift because when you have the ability to be fluid, I think one of my favorite quotes from Bruce Lee is "Be water, my friend." So being fluid like that and being able to adapt and learn and thrive in someone else's pool is an awesome talent to have. And I think that probably contributes to your success as a producer.
Thank you, man. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So I know we talked before we started recording. We talked about your busy first quarter of the year. Now you're kind of in a space where you're looking to create and see what's going to inspire you. What do you think you have cooking up in the lab for the rest of 2022? What are you looking forward to working on? Are there any collaborations you're looking forward to working with? Give us a little scoop of what we can look for the rest of 2022.
Got you. the beginning of the year, I had a couple of back-to-back records that are just singles. They're just kind of like audio movie posters, I guess you could call them. One of them was called Hikikomori, which is about a Japanese subculture that doesn't go outside. And I actually made that song in winter of 2019. So it was actually like a year before pandemic.
Right.
And I decided at the end of last year, I was like, yo, fuck it, I'm gonna put this out. I put it out during a retrograde too. That's a little like thing that I do that I find works really well. If there's like a Mercury retrograde, I look back at something that I've all done a while ago that never saw light that I wish had come out, and I just share that shit because I think it's like a, why not then?
Oh, that's energetically, I love that. That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah, so that was one of them. One of them was a collab with an artist named Kaleido Kitty called Ocean Floor, and then another one was called Terminus. And Terminus is kind of like about death. It's like a tune that reminds me of like falling through a void and never getting to the end of it. And I imagined that like if there was a death ending sequence that was like, oh, what's the most deathly thing? Like it just sounded like that. These three records did a lot for me in their own way. They just hit back to back. And I think people really got what kind of producer I was, even though it's kind of a hard thing to follow. So the question is, what's my best stuff in the stash that's a movie poster that really like is that exact mood? And when I put it out, people will get it. I had one come out since then called Breach, which was the kind of like this like hacker anthem. I guess it was like about data flying all over the place and how susceptible your data was. People didn't really, I don't know, like it didn't bang like those ones bangs. I know it's like kind of like up and down cycle. So now I'm like and I think that tune is dope, but those first three I'm really, really proud of. So the question is how to consistently release stuff and have the concepts be compelling and have the concepts be stuff that will get you to think. Because that's like, I want the music and the concept to come together and give people the fantasy about it that I have. So I'm trying to figure that out because I really just figured out recently that that's what I was doing. Thank you so much to this guy, Until on Twitter. His name is Alenzo or Alonzo, maybe Alesso, I think his name is. He's a writer for a blog called Fucks With It, and he wrote me up for Hikikomori on Fucks With It. And he described what I was doing, and I felt very seen and very like, okay, this guy gets it. He understands what I'm doing better than I do, and now I kind of know what my mission is. So I'm excited about that. And other than that, I'm really just working with Rome right now. Everybody else is kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like if rappers, it's cool. All the rappers I've fucked with before, like I fucked with all you guys. Like I'm here if you need me. Like Rome is just the only person that I'm working with and like really reaching out to because lyrics wise, I get what I need from him. That's the whole thing, is the fact that I get to go, oh shit, every like 8 bars. That's what I'm into. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm in it for. So all the other, all the stuff is on hold. I'm really working with Rome and working on my personal wave music project and all the other like wave labels. I have like wave shows coming up. I'm doing a URL show in a week. So I'm doing a 30-minute DJ set. I also have a DJ set for DJ City, which is a kind of like online open format DJ hub. It's a record pool where like you can get all the MP3 downloads, and they have a community of DJs that's like very much about like DJ skills. So like making a 30-minute mix that's like showcases skills. So I have that to turn in for June also. So there's going to be like some mainstream shit, 30-minute mix coming for DJ City. There's a wave mix of personal music that's all mine I'm going to put out in a week's time on a rave. And then, I'm also in this beat battle for Ski Beats. I have a lot going on right now. Ski Beats is throwing this beat battle this month on April 18th. I think it's going to be live on Sound Collective NYC's Instagram or website. Sound Collective NYC is a school that I work at. I teach Ableton and DJing at that school, and they've asked me to participate in this beat battle where my guy Static Link is in a room full of instruments and is going to play and record all the instruments to make a sample of some kind, probably a soul sample, and then me and 3 other producers are asked on the spot to flip that sample. So, and then Ski Beats is hosting it. Ski Beats produced like a lot of the stuff on Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt and produced Camp Low. Produced something recently which is really dope called 24 Hour Karate School. There's this album called Twilight that he did, which is fucking phenomenon with like Mac Miller and Wiz Khalifa is on it. It's like from 2013 or something. It's a banger though. You should check it out for sure. Yeah.
And where can the people find where would they be able to access that?
That's I think on Sound Collective NYC Instagram. That beat battle is on April 18th. Yeah, I think.
April 18th. Okay, we'll make sure we put it in the link, guys. Please check that out. I know it's going to be fire. I'm excited just listening to the concept. I'm a big concept person. I actually literally had goosebumps from the concept, so I like that. I like that a lot.
Word. Yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, Nick, we're almost done, brother. It has been an absolute pleasure sharing this time with you. But before we go, we have to get you that DenMate stamp so you can be officially affiliated. You'll be official like a referee with a whistle. And in order to do that, we play a little game here called If You Don't Know, Now You Know, baby. Shout out to the late B.I.G. This game is brought to you by the good folks at Poddecks. Folks, if you're a podcaster like me, sometimes coming up with questions for interviews, I do it all myself, people, and it can be very, very tiring. So you can have exciting interviews like we do here on the Den. So Poddecks is a great tool to spice up your interviews, and I'm going to show you how great it is. You can purchase Poddecks online on their website, poddecks.com. Save yourself 10% off your purchase using the promo code The Den, which will be right down here when I edit this bad boy. The Den. That's THEDEN. And we're going to have a blast. I'm going to show you how cool it is right now. So I'm going to pull up the trusty podcast phone. It's just a regular iPhone. And we're going to get you some random questions to really get an insight, to get in the mind of Nick Neutronz so all your fans can see how quick you come up with these awesome answers. So I'm going to pick a random category, like so. And we're going to pick, because you're a hustler, man, the first category we're going to pick is the hustle, like so. All right. This is a good one. This is a good one right here. Do you have a hard time telling people no?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yup. Telling people no is it's definitely, like sometimes I don't, but I definitely know what that's like to have that problem, Yeah. Yeah, it's work. It's one of the areas that I do a lot of work in my life, for sure. That's like an issue that I'm always doing work on.
Well, anybody that, I always say creatives are people of service, regardless of how much wealth or fame you're a server. You're giving people your energy, your time to make this music, to make podcasts, to make books, whatever you do that's creative. So generally, if you're a server, you're a giver. So it is hard.
This is something that I realized recently, right? For creatives, saying no is a great place to ask for money. It's a great place to play with your personal boundary about what you deserve money for. And sometimes if it's not done carefully and in the right way, it can destroy the relationship. And sometimes that's not worth it. And sometimes it is. So it's really careful. You have to get very careful with yourself about how you ask for money, but to just put down the boundary and be like, okay, no, if I'm going to do this, I need money for this. Let's see, that's I think a great thing for creatives. That's a good place to play with both those boundaries. I'd say that's something
much agreed. So man, we're dropping jewels. That's why I love the show. We're dropping jewels.
That's a good app. 10%.
The Den. THEDEN. Save yourself a discount. All right. So next random category, randomly putting in. All right. This is hypothetical questions. Here we go. Random category. Oh, damn, I would like to answer this myself, and I just might. Okay, this is fun. That's why I love this thing. What animated or cartoon world do you wish you could live in for a week?
Neo Yokio.
Neo Yokio. All right, okay. Hey, that's a good answer.
Look, so I'm obsessed with Neo Yokio. I watch the series Neo Yokio as like a what you call it, kind of like a therapy show. It's like a show that you know so well, and you just put it on, and it just fucking
Yes,
like
that's me in the
just
office. I could just put it on and run in the
exactly.
background.
Exactly. I tweeted today on the way we came back from the city today. Me and my wife went to the city. On the way back, there was hella traffic. I was in the passenger seat. I was like, I've just put on Neo Yokio again. And I just tweeted, I was like, we need more Neo Yokios based on the fashion blogger from Neo Yokio. I actually tweeted that. So I would definitely love to live there for a week, even though it's basically just New York and it's like fancy, but I just like those characters and I like that world. So I would have to go.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think I would, for me, I think I would go Adventure Time. I would love to live in the land of Ooh. Think that's dope, but I think Jake is my
That's a
spirit
way better
animal.
answer. That's a way better answer.
No, hey, no, yours was awesome. Yours was awesome. All right, next category. It's going to be Would You Rather. All right, these are always fun. All right, here we go. I don't even know what this means, but hell, we're gonna have fun with it. Would you wear fringe on everything, or would you rather dress leather head to toe? I don't know what fringe is, so someone's gonna have to.
Leather head to toe,
Yeah, leather.
no question. But
Fringe.
that's it's a fringe is like like little you know what I'm saying, like the it's like fling 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 like all the way like picture. Funny thing is, picture like a suede bodysuit with like tassels all over everything. Like that's what
Okay,
it is.
yeah, I'm gonna
You
go with the
know?
leather as well. Call me Eddie Murphy Raw because
Yeah. I
yeah,
think Eddie Murphy raw suit. I think I could pull that off. I think I could kill that shit. Not
I
gonna
think
lie.
everyone
I'd
should
like.
try it.
Yeah.
Try it once in their life. Maybe in the wintertime though, because it gets pretty hot here. All right.
True that.
So the next category, music interviews, which great, we have a musician. All right, here we go. Do you have any other creative outlets or hobbies outside of music?
Qigong. It's like kind
What's
of a
that?
hobby. Qigong
Tell
is
me
like
about it.
Tai Chi. It's like Tai Chi postures. That's
Okay.
like basically stand stand with your, with wide stance, with your butt tucked, with your head up, and hold your arms in front of you like this for 10 minutes and breathe into the pit of your stomach. Just do that and watch the way that your knowledge of your body changes and the way that your knowledge of your body increasing puts you through this brutal cycle of emotions of being like, fuck, I hate this. Fuck, I feel so free. Like, oh my God, like you just start, it cleanses your body and is incredibly stimulating in some way, but also very challenging. It's just a postural meditation. That's pretty much what it is. Like you scanning your body while holding certain postures and doing certain breathing techniques in order to heal yourself. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
I'm into it. My college roommate used to do regular Tai Chi from a video that he got from, I think, Spencer's or something. And we had a little tiny dorm room that was really for a single, but of course, colleges want to double their money, so they threw two people. He was like 6'7", so he would do these postures and
Wow.
maneuvers. And I'm literally laying in my bed, and this like leg is over my head. And I'm like, dude, this room, go to the gym. We do not have enough space in this little ass closet that we consider a dorm.
That's
So that
actually
sounds awesome.
hilarious.
It was hilarious. I just see like a thigh and gym shorts right above my nose, and I'm like,
Oh my
dude,
God.
I'm gonna hit you with a Walkman if you don't cut this shit out. All right, so final question on If You Don't Know, Now You Know. Baby, baby, brought to you by the good folks at Pod Deck. So here we go. The final question from the category, The Future Freaks Me Out. And I consider myself a bit of a futurist, so let's check it out. Okay, this is perfect. What do you think the wave of the future will be, and how will you adapt to it?
Hmm. It's a very good question.
I'll tell
Um,
you mine if you're still thinking.
sure.
I can tell you. So I'm telling you, man, the wave. I think in the next 5 years, we're not going to see any cars on the road. Once Tesla really gets this mapping technology and really gets it where people can truly
In
just
5 years?
5 years. 5 years, you won't see any truckers on the road. You won't see anything piloted, cabs,
50 years,
taxis.
maybe.
Five. Trust me, man. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about.
Dude, do you know how people would freak the fuck out if people, a car is like, a car is like somebody's entire like left half of their body or some shit like that. Like that's like telling people there's not going to be any homes in 5 years,
You
except you're talking
think
about cars.
no? There'll be cars, but
No, dude.
that technology is going to be they're going to license that technology. Every car is going to have that automated. Every truck, maybe 10 years, but I'm saying 5 because technology usually doubles every year. So trust me, it's what 2022, 2027. You're going to be remembering this moment when you're sitting in the back of a car that's being driven by an android. You're like,
You
that damn
said, but
Marz knew what he was talking about.
no, but there still be cars on the road though.
Oh yeah, no. Cars will be on the road. What I meant to say is there'll be no
Drivers
truckers.
and
Yeah, there'll be some for the poor people like myself that won't be able to upgrade. But for the main businesses, why pay a driver that's going to go to sleep behind the wheel that's shipping something across country when you can have an automated truck that's done by a computer? Do it. You program the route in it, done, and it can drive 24 hours a day. Doesn't have to brake. Doesn't have to
I get it. I
stop.
definitely believe that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely believe that.
Absolutely. How about yourself?
Um, well, I definitely think that the big free crypto, not government controlled volatility run has no more than 8 years at most. I think in 8 years, crypto is going to be what the internet has become. And right now, it's a place where it is supporting maverick ideas and things like that on the level that the internet was in the late 90s. And that right now, like, it's just in the process of getting co opted now. We're like watching it happen. And yeah, I think that it has the area of it being utopia has another like couple years, but not more. That's what I think. First of all, that I also think that like the it's funny that you say wave of the future because that makes it sound like that's funny. Wave, yes, wave gang all the way, 100%. But also, wave of the future sounds like it's en vogue. So it sounds like we're talking about something positive or trendy that needs to be evolve like needs to be adopted as opposed to it being like yo like what do you think's going to happen in the future, which right now you would probably say like the end is around the corner, it's like it's almost over, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like in the last couple years to a lot of people. I think it sort of feels like that more now than ever, but I think it always kind of does too. But we have this new crisis. But I think I don't think VR is as close as people think it is because I don't see it being although I do see a lot of people like going there for like raves and stuff like that, but I don't see it being mass adopted anytime soon. Um,
I
but
agree. I helped promote a UFO party on Observation Dat, which is like a spin of the metaverse, and it's pretty cool. But it still feels like you're playing Nintendo Wii. You know what I mean? You're still not quite there where it's like player ready one. I think once they get to the
yeah,
point where you can feel stuff, the moment you can have a digital chick, it's over. It's over. The moment
you're
they
not
figure,
wrong.
yeah,
You're
the
not
moment they
wrong.
figure that
Yeah.
out, that might be the end of the human race because people are going to just be uploading whatever they want, putting their headphones on, and that's going to be a wrap. So yeah, I don't think 5 years, but maybe 10.
That's a very, very interesting point, though, because as people get more and more into this digital reality, they're disconnecting from things physically more and more. So the incentive to actually go out there and breed and keep the race going is actually kind of under a certain kind of threat that I'd never really considered before this moment. That was very insightful.
Think about it all the time because I always say we literally just went through a mass global experiment where for 2 years they told us to sit in the house and we did it. For the most part, we did it. Now give us an incentive. Give us, hey, baby
Yeah.
boomer, who was hot in 1965? I don't know, Mary Tyler Moore. We're going to be able to program Mary Tyler Moore in this metaverse helmet and have fun. It's going to be a wrap. It's going to be a wrap. It's going to be a lot less humans going around.
It's true. It's true.
That was a negative way to end the episode, but
it's all good. To me, it's all, to me, it's all already written. I don't believe in free will. This is a whole nother conversation. But I believe that your internal environment reacts to your external environment, and that you are basically an eventuality, and that helps me realize that everything is like one thing. That it's like, physical. You're born. The doctor slaps your ass. You open your eyes. You're reacting to your external environment, and the chain reaction is what you get to feel like, and what you get to think about, and the decisions you make. All that stuff is at least you could say that it's if you haven't looked at it that way before, you have to consider that it might be pre-written. That also helps me understand the simulation argument. That's why they think you're in a simulation, and that's why in the Vedic religions, I think they describe this as one of the gods' dreams. And I do think that we are all going to wake up as one thing in the future. Right now, this is the sleep cycle of some very big alien. I think all the contact with aliens we've experienced is our hyper-conscious self coming down here to give us some kind of hint. I don't believe in aliens that exist independent of that. That's what I think they are. I think the Earth is the only thing that has life on it. Maybe, it's so big, how could the Earth be the only thing that has life on it? Just because that's the way that I just think it is. That's what I think's going on. I don't know for sure, but that makes the most sense to me. I don't know. I know we over time.
No, brother, we could do a whole episode of that. I'm big on the simulation theory. I've had too many personal experiences with legit deja vu where I meet someone and 5 years ago, I've never met this person, but when I meet them, I'm like 5 years ago, and I know the word they're going to say next, or I know a conversation.
Yes.
And I'm like, nope, I'm not. I'm literally not imagining this thing. I've had this exact conversation 5 years ago before I even met you, and it's just now clicking. I'm like, that's a skip in the matrix. Yeah, that's a skip in the matrix. So I'm with you on that one. It's definitely I've had.
It's this is not a unique experience. Everyone's life is fucking crazy and weird, and deep as fuck. But it's you can't really just talk about it.
You don't talk about that because they'll put you in a padded cell. I think now,
or just shit doesn't get done. That stuff doesn't really have much to do with putting food in mouth. That's the thing about it, So there's a weird. It's all godly with I gotta eat. There's that war going on constantly. So,
the id and the ego, Well, Nick, brother, it has been a pleasure. You are a beacon of energy. I love it. Please let the friends of the Den and the Den mates know where they can find you on social media. Any shout outs you want to give, anything you want to promote, the floor is yours, brother.
Thank you much, man. Nick Neutronz at Instagram, Twitter, NickNeutronz. Shout out to Rome Alone, RROMEALONE. Really excited for the project we have coming out late April. Hopefully it'll be out. It's Rome's EP called If I'm a Killer. That's really excited for that. My next song coming out, hopefully late April, is called Outworld. It's about what happens when you learn something about your world that makes you feel like a stranger in your own world, and you have to completely relearn how to be yourself. We went through that a lot of times. I thought in a certain way the slap from last week was that everyone woke up in a new reality where it was what the fuck's going on? You know what I'm saying? So Outworld is about that, about reassimilating to an unfamiliar world. So those two releases, yep, Nick Neutronz Gmail. Well, sorry, yeah, Nick Neutronz Gmail too, but also Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, those are the main places I am. I'm on TikTok too, but not too much. But yeah, Nick Neutronz.
Well, check out all of his social media, the TikToks, the Instagrams, the Facebooks. People still Facebook, I don't know. But everything that's popping, check it out. Please check out his music. Please check out Rome Alone. He's dope. I vouched before, I vouch again. You will not regret it. His story is phenomenal. Check out our episode. We're over 10,000 streams on that right now with Rome Alone. So check it out. It's a great episode. Please check out Nick right now. His music is phenomenal. His production is phenomenal. His view on life is phenomenal. And as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe if you like what we're doing. If you like what we're putting it down, make sure to let everyone know. Go to Nick's page, and like I always tell our den mates, if you saw him here, spam his page with red circles. Those red circles stand for Marz. That lets him know that you saw him down in the den. So he will want to come back because he knows that his message made an impact to you guys. So as always, I end every damn episode the same way. Nick, brother, I thank you. You're always welcome. If you have anything you want to promote, you're always welcome. You got my info. And as we end every single episode, I'm stuttering because I am ready to party this weekend. So anyway, peace, love, unity, and respect. Deuces, this is your boy Marz. That's my man Nick. Check him out. Always down in the den. Peace.
It's down in the den, so go tell a friend. The best podcast on earth is about to begin. We got jokes and news and movie reviews. After Dark NC-17 with the crew. Interviews with the best artists around. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now.